Man, what's up? What's happening? Welcome back to another show of He Said, She Said. And if this is your first time tuning in, it's your boy Q Walker, aka Nephew Q. And as you notice, I ain't doing none of the theatrics with my hands or none of that. I'm keeping my hands by my
It
side.
don't even seem right though.
Nope, no,
It
since
don't
y'all,
seem right.
no, since y'all talked about me
Hey,
last
listen,
time.
don't never let nobody diminish your shine.
No,
Shine on, my brother.
no,
Shine
China.
on.
Hey, what's up? What's happening? You already know
Yeah,
who it
that's
is.
what
It's
I'm
your boy
talking
Q
about.
Walker, aka Nephew Q. And if it's your first time tuning in, this is He Said, She Said. And over to my left right here, we have the beautiful, curvaceous, intelligent, opinionated, always got something to say, Chrissy J.
Bars, bars,
Chrissy J.
bars. Always got
in the-
something to say, Chrissy J. That's gonna be my new.
Hey, and that just came
Hey.
up. It's
Hey,
the
my
whole
new-
studio atmosphere and everything. I
Got
got
this.
you.
This is what we do.
I got you. And of course, as y'all can tell, we missing one of our cohorts right now. You know, he's on vacation, living his best life off in Las Vegas, right?
Vegas, man.
Vegas, you
Ain't
know.
gonna, don't worry about it because he gonna get a COVID test when he get back up here. I don't care if
Hey,
he's
ASAP.
vaccinated or not.
I don't care about your vaccination. You still getting a COVID test when you come through. But shout out to Jarvis. Safe travels to you and your family. But we got a special guest in the building today. We have Miss Ebonie Ware, as I'm about to bring her on. And Miss Ebonie Ware received her bachelor's and master's in social work from the University of Kentucky. She is the owner of Where I'm Coming From LLC, which specializes in mental health and consulting. She is also the author of Totally Naked, a motivational guide to living inside out. She is passionate about helping people reach their greatest potential through critical thinking and self-awareness. So without further ado, let me bring on Miss Ebonie Ware to the stage. How you doing, Miss Ware?
I'm
Hey,
doing
girl.
well. How are you?
We doing all right. We doing all right. So I know I gave a brief introduction about you, but let everybody know a little bit about your background, your upbringing, where you come from, all that good stuff.
I come from Lexington, Kentucky. Me and Quentin go way back.
Yeah, we go
Been
way
knowing
back.
him for a
Like
long
some
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We go back to seventh grade.
Seventh grade.
Yeah, seventh grade. Yeah.
Yep, seventh grade. So I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. Like you said, I did get my bachelor's in social work, master's in social work. I thought then I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I thought that I wanted to work with children. And so I kept repeating that to myself over and over again. Telling anytime somebody asked me, I was like, "Oh, I want to work in the school system. I want to do this." And then one day, my sister says, "Ebony, you don't even like kids." And I had to think about that. I said, "Wait a minute." And the reason why I'm telling this story is because a lot of times we follow a script. You know, when we're getting started in life, we follow a script and we're telling people what we think they want to hear, right? And sometimes when we're in school, you're not really even thinking about what you want to do. You're thinking about, what sounds good to other people. And so I felt like I carried that script with me for a long time. And honestly, it led me to actually get into being an advocate for mental health. And the reason why getting to know yourself and know who knowing who you are is like one of the most important things. So right now, that's what I'll say about me is I'm still learning myself, getting to know myself, and enjoying helping other people getting to know themselves as well. So
Do we ever stop getting to know
That's
ourselves?
what I was gonna say.
I don't think so. I don't think
Like
so.
we constantly evolve, and
Yeah.
I learn new stuff about myself every hour by hour.
Exactly.
I think you should have to constantly evolve and grow
Yeah.
as a person because who you are right now, you're not gonna be the same Chrissy J 5 years from now. Well, I would hope not. You're not
Right.
be the same person.
You should
5 years.
evolve.
Yeah, you should evolve and be somebody different. Now you talked about being an advocate for mental wellness and mental health. Now I know you talked about helping kids.
Mm-hmm.
At what point did you want to say? I guess we could say how many years ago did you say, you know what, this is what I want to do. I want to be an advocate for mental health. How long ago was it when you
How
started
did
that
that
process?
happen? Well, I'll tell you what happened. So when I got out of school, when I got out of graduate school, it was I got out during the recession. So
Okay.
it's hard to find a job. So you're trying to figure out what you want to do, trying to find a place in social work. And when I got my first job, I actually I ended up in a director role. And so on the outside, like I said, on the outside, on paper, it looks great. You're a director, you're helping people, you're making decent money, you're able to do things you want to do. But for some reason, I was still so miserable. Like miserable. I didn't like what I was doing. I wasn't challenged. I was complaining all the time. I gained weight. My hair was falling out. I was stressed out. And then that's when I started listening to myself. I said this was this was about 2015, I would say. 2015 is when I first started noticing like that I just was not happy with what I was doing. But I stayed there for a few years later or whatever. But then, it came to me when I started seeing other people coming up like to my office, and they talked about how miserable they were in the job. And I thought to myself, I was like, if you're miserable with something, why don't you change it? Like, you don't have to stay there. Like, what's holding you there? And at that moment, for some reason, it was like a light bulb went off to me. And I was like, start figuring out what it is that you really want to do. What do you like to do? What is it that you want? And I started at that point just kind of like seeking out the things that I like, what I enjoy, what I'm passionate about. And it led me to start doing seminars. And so that's how I got into this whole Totally Naked. There's my book here, but Totally Naked actually started out as I was doing seminars. And what Totally Naked means is, peeling back your layers until you get to your purest form and learning to see yourself the way God sees you. And so that is where I came up with that whole concept of Totally Naked. And Totally Naked to me was just like a catchy phrase. Somebody's gonna look at that and be like, what she mean totally naked? I want to know what that's about, But really what I was talking about is you pulling back those layers of yourself and getting to know yourself and know who you are. And so that's where it all started for me.
The book Totally Naked, did you have to go through your own like self-deprivation to get the, I guess the research for the book within yourself to write the book, or did you go to other people, talk to them? Like how did that book come along?
Yeah, it come along. So it came along, one, just my training, like education and social work. And then two, like I said, just going through trying to figure out who you are and what's going to help you figure out who you are. So this book was actually, the things in this book was things that I used to figure out who I am, who I wanted to be. And also looking back at, research and, just my education and everything. So it's kind of a mixture of a lot of things put together in this book. And actually what this is, it's actually, you could go in here and you actually write down certain things. I don't know if you all can see it in this, but I actually ask like certain questions. So it's interactive and you actually are getting to know yourself while reading and, taking notes in the book. So.
How long did it take you from start to finish, as far as like your ideas, just trying to figure out, doing your research, other sources, to actually sit down and say, okay, I'm going to do this. I start today to completion.
Ooh, let's see.
That sounds like some years.
That was a good question. Let's see. I was about to say a couple years.
Because I know you said that you started feeling a certain way and then you just kind of stayed stagnant. You just stayed there for a couple of years. So when you did start it, did you go back to the beginning of when you first realized? Did this go back years before that, or?
So when I started realizing it, I would say in 2015, I was still at that job, but I started working on the seminars and I was doing the workshops, and then I started writing the book within that time. So I actually completed the book in 2017. So I would say it was about a 2-year period. So I was actually working on the book and doing those things while I was actually still at that job. And I made the decision to leave that job later. So that's what happened.
When you started writing the book, did you know I'm writing a big book, or did you just start like writing down thoughts and then it kind of boiled over to, you know what?
Yeah.
I need to write this as a book.
Yeah, I need to write this as a book. This is good.
Exactly. Well, it's so funny that you say that. So what happened, it started out as a workshop.
Okay.
So it started out, and I actually wrote out it was called it's life mapping. We use that in social work, life mapping. It's just like kind of planning at your life, what, your likes and dislikes, your strengths, your weaknesses, that type of thing. So that's where it started. So I started doing these, going and doing seminars with women. And so then I looked at the workshop, and I was like, I can turn this into a book that people can use and actually have it kind of like a journal, something that you can use. Because this is something, like you said, because you're always learning, you're always growing, you can go back to this all the time and it can change, So I just wanted to have something that people could have that would be, that they could keep with them. So that's why I created it.
Nothing like making money doing something you love.
Doing something
and that is going to help other people
exactly
to elevate to other levels. So quickly.
As you was right, I know we talked about finding yourself. So did you start to discover more things about yourself and I guess kind of discover who you are while you were, writing this book?
Yes, yes. Because so here's the thing. What I started realizing about myself was, so I went into social work because I wanted to help people, but the problem was I didn't know how I wanted to help them. So that was what I was still trying to figure out. And within that job that I was in, I realized that a lot of times as social workers, we're putting band-aids on things. And what I mean by that, we're going to give you we'll do it for you instead of giving you the tools that you need to succeed. And that's not all social workers, but in the job in the role that I was in, I felt like I was just giving people resources without telling them how to use them themselves. And for me, that is like, if I'm going to tell you how to do something, I want it to be something that you can carry with you and you can take with you and use it again yourself. Not where you have to come back to me and ask me again whenever you have another problem. So as I was writing, I was like, what I like to do, and I started to look back at some patterns in my life with my friends and everything. I'm the person that a lot of my friends and family come to when they do have problems, and we sit there, we talk them through together, and we figure out how to work them out. So I just wanted to teach people how to be solution driven and how to figure out things on their own. So this for me started to just become a passion of mine. And not only that, but just when I started feeling better about myself and what I was doing, I want other people to feel that too. I want other people to feel better about themselves. I want them to feel worthy and realize that they deserve to have anything they want to have. So that's where it came from.
So anybody and everybody watching, if you have any questions for Miss Ware, please comment them. I'll put them up on the screen for her to hopefully answer some of your questions that you have. Did you have a question?
Not
okay. So talk to me about this 4-week mental fitness program and how people can maybe get into that.
Okay. And so my 4-week mental fitness program is part of, so I started when I wrote the book, I also started my own business called Where I'm Coming From, which is my last name, Where I'm Coming From. And so that I specialize in mental wellness and consulting. And I started this to provide educational tools that could help people thrive both socially and professionally is the reason why I did it. And all of it stems back to self-awareness and critical thinking about what you want, thinking about where you are, where you want to go, what's stopping you from getting to where you want to be. And so, after writing this book, I was like, I thought about like when we talk about mental health, right? A lot of times when you say the word mental health, a lot of people automatically shut off because it's like, ain't nothing wrong with me. I don't got nothing going on, so you don't even talk about it anymore. And so I was like trying to think of a fun way to say, so I was like, maybe fitness. If you think about fitness, I was like, when you're getting yourself in shape physically, you go to the gym, you work out, you run, you do all those things. But it's like your mind needs the same attention as your body does. So I created something that was like working out your mind. So that's why I called it mental fitness. So within that program, it's a ebook that's a 4-week program. It's basically like if you were following a physical fitness program. You would be following this program, like certain exercises that you're doing every week that's going to strengthen your mind and strengthen where you are and where you want to go. So that's what I came up with. And you can find it on my website, whereimcomingfrom.com.
Girl, let me tell you something. I came here in my workout. I'm thinking, it's mental fitness. Everything's not needed. Like, for real, I'm thinking this going to be, I know I should have really read up, but I'm thinking it's going to be a class where it's like, okay, we working out, but while we doing it, it's like some motivational, some positive things. And look, I was ready.
Ready.
You're still ready. You're still ready. That's all right.
Listen, but hey, I might want to think about something like that. I really thought about, if you had like, it was going to be like a group of women and while we're working out, just inspirational things. And for this, you do. Hey, we're going to talk.
And that might be, that would be something too.
Hey, I was ready. I was like, okay, mental health, fitness, because it goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand.
It goes hand in hand at the end of the day, because when your mind is not right, when your mental is messed up,
it's not right. I heard you, Chrissy, say that on one of the shows, and I was like, the light bulb went up. I said, okay, she knows. That's right. Yeah. If your mind, it controls everything that we do, every aspect of our life. If your mind is not right, there's not much you're gonna do.
And on top of your mind, and it kind of takes it to another level. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, baby.
Your gut.
Yeah.
It's what, like, people don't understand the things that we eat, the things that we absorb
Mhm.
also affects our mental and everything else that we have. Like, it goes hand in hand. So, you know, we spend so much time, and I never have a problem with discussing things that I've been through or things that I've shared, because even if it helps one person,
Exactly.
you know, I am me, I am who I am. Like, I've dealt with depression and mental health for years of my life, but you know, it's not one of those things that, you know, I'm 42, back in the day, that was really said in the Black community, you know what I mean? Or you were embarrassed because people's like, oh, she crazy. Like,
exactly.
so, and I can appreciate, and I'm so thankful that we are now in this time and place in this generation where we can normalize
mental health.
Mental health, because at the end of the day, it's like anything else. If you are a diabetic,
exactly,
you don't take your medicine, you don't take care of yourself,
yeah,
it's not going to get better. It's the same thing with the mind. You have to take care of yourself, and self-love and self-care, for me, that I understand, has to come first, because I cannot make anybody else happy if I'm not making myself happy. And that includes me putting before my kids to a certain extent, because if mama's not happy and I can't do me, how am I going to fill you up when my cup is empty?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, my bad. Just go ahead and go.
We great. Pass this collection plate around real quick.
And you know, it's mental health beyond, because it really touches home. Like, I mean, even just not even on no other stuff. Just, I've had some tough weeks this year, you know what I mean? And life in general, just trying to figure out life after COVID, not after COVID, during COVID. You know, and just having to sit back and do self-reflection. And I think that's why a lot of people, and I learned that about myself, do not like to be alone. No. You keep yourself busy, because when you're alone, what does it force you to do?
To think.
It forces you to sit back and think and reflect on you and who you are. And sometimes we realize, I don't know if I like who I am. Everybody else likes this person, but who are they getting? Like, they like, but do I like me? And not that I'm a bad person, but do I like where I'm at in life? Do I like what's going on? So during this COVID phase, I think that's why the level of people saying, well, people are so depressed. Man, people been depressed.
Yeah.
But they suppressed it because they were doing other things, so that it didn't have to be dealt with. So when we got set back and we forced to be like, well, I'm by myself, it's COVID, I can't, we're human, we need other people, we need human touch. You need that interaction with other people. But on a positive flip side, if you are to take it there, it also allowed you to understand you better.
Exactly.
You know, if you put in the work.
Yep.
So
that's what I say. We keep a lot of noise around us. That's what I call it. You keep a lot of noise around you, so you don't have to worry about. You can complain about somebody else. You can complain about your job. Complain about your relationship and what they doing to you. But you don't got to think about your participation in the relationship while you're in that relationship.
Yeah, you yourself. I done seen so many people that give great advice to other people about their relationships, and they can't even.
Derek Jackson.
What?
Derek Jackson.
And you see him in
yeah, I seen him in church.
See him in church?
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, he's human. Right. He is man, and he saw an opportunity to make money, and he capitalized on it. I'm not saying it's right, but you know, we have to, as women, you know what I mean? Not just put all our thoughts into what he said. We have to understand and do the research, not just because it sounds good. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That man. No, because everything he said wasn't right. So we have to take accountability for what we allow ourselves to absorb.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, so it wasn't just on him. You know, hey, Derek Jackson ain't no different than these rappers I heard calling women's bitchs and hoes and all this other stuff. Like, what's the difference?
How you feeling today? You okay? You all right today?
Am I all right today? I'm good today.
Okay. I mean, we just went everywhere with that one. But Derek Jackson, I shouldn't have never brought my fault. Back to, because I do want to get back to the stigma and the black community. I do want to get back to that. But before we do that, I also the 4-week fitness program. Do they come to you? Is it over Zoom? Do you send them like inspirational quotes and things? Like how is it every day? Is it weekly? How does that work out?
I'm so glad you asked me that, because what I realized is I've been putting this stuff out, posting it on Facebook, and I'm like, nobody knows what the hell this is. I'm glad. So I can tell everybody today what this is. So what I did was I created it's an ebook. So it's an actual so you can download it. It's a digital download. And what I've done is just like if you were to purchase a physical fitness program, right? And you download it and they're telling you, you do whatever exercise, 4 sets of whatever reps and all that. What I did was I created a 4-week thing that would tell you certain exercises that you had to do. For instance, one of the things that you do is like a 5-minute, it's a every day 5-minute affirmations or meditation, daily readings, something to, start your day with something positive. That's one part of it. There's another section where it talks about you actually are breaking down like some of your habits, some of the things that you're doing now, and relating them back to some of the things that you may realize that happened to you in the past, and drawing those connections together. And I do make sure to say, in the program, if you feel like it's something that's too intense or things that you feel like you need help with, that you do seek, a therapist or somebody that's going to have extensive services for you to talk to. Because I wouldn't want you to start something so heavy and then not follow up. And that's the reason why I also offer consultation services. So if you're somebody that wants to go through hey, let's talk about week 1. I want to talk about that. Let's talk about what I put down on week 1 and talk through it. So I also offer that as well. So basically it's 4 weeks, and there's just certain exercises and certain things that you write down that you do that's going to improve your mental health and mental wellness.
So, during this 4-week program, is it like they start week 1 and like you said, they write things down? Do they check in with you that Friday and then y'all talk about everything and what they wrote down in that week?
It'll be up to you. You can do it. You can schedule it however you want to. If you want to say, I want to do week 1 and week 2 and then come back and talk to you, or if you say, I'm going to complete the whole thing and then I want to come back and talk about certain things. It's just however you feel. Or you feel like you get through week 1 and you're like, I feel like I need some help with this, then you can schedule an appointment to talk to me.
Okay. And those sessions, because it almost sounds like it's a therapy session, right, to be honest.
Okay.
I was like, so is it therapy included?
30 minutes. No, but it's more so the way that I kind of want to look at it, and I'm glad you said that too, is with me, I think of it more as like life coaching, like for me, like a life coach. So I'm going to walk you through it. So I may be able to tell you more so like if we're talking about it and I say, you know what, it sounds like you might want to talk to somebody, or let me give you the resources for that, or refer you to this or whatever. We may draw that conclusion together. But I think the most important part is like you being a part of the process of what you're doing and how you're feeling and where you want to go. And we kind of talking that out together. So it is therapy, but it's just not extensive.
Yeah. That's why I want to ask. Did I miss the cost?
Yeah, well, how much is it cost?
That's the ask.
Yeah, you might want to put that in there.
Well, what's that? Just go on the website. You'll see. No, the program is $97 for the program for 4 weeks. So which is, one therapy session, to be honest, some of the things that are in there, if you're not a person that right now wants to go talk to a therapist, or you just feel like you want to just really dig deep and really think about where you are and what you're doing, I think this would be a perfect thing. Or if you're in therapy and you want this as a supplement, your supplemental program as well, that's what it can be used for too. So
listen, I spend at least, and that's because I don't go as often as I used to, $120 get my feet and my nails done. And for me, that is therapy for me because I need that me time, that relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not willing to invest $97, it's all in what we see in value.
And what we see the value.
Mm-hmm. But if you don't find value in investing into your mental health,
then
it's not going to be for you. But my thing is, I always tell people, let's be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people think that just because they don't have a mental health issue within that moment, well, I'm going to wait. You don't wait till you get sick to start eating right.
Exactly. And that's
So
the whole point. Yep, that's the whole point. I feel like if we were to start some of these, I look back and I'm like, if I would have known this when I was in school, if somebody would have taught, we would have had these type of classes when we were in school. Somebody would have talked to us about getting to know ourselves, or when we're feeling bad to go talk to somebody and do these things. Just think how further along we could, we could have gotten to the conclusion of where we are now, or whatever, or where we're trying to go.
that's true. But however, you might not have had the life experiences that you have now that you've been able to write about and help other people.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
You
But I think
haven't
it could have
exposed the things that you've gone through to write that book.
But it can start helping, at least helping you to build that foundation.
Oh, for sure.
Starting that foundation. So
I think they should. I don't know if they do this or not
In school?
as far as offer. I don't want to say mental health classes, but classes that help you adapt and adjust to things that are going to go on in your adult life. Do they have classes like that? I mean,
Not that I know of. Not
I think they've started to do that a little bit more than they used to. And honestly, to be honest, I'm trying to figure out a way to get this program into the school systems. So that's on another thing. But I really, at least late middle school, high school, age, as far as some of the stuff that's in it, I think can be a little much for younger children. But I think it is a good way to start in school age, to start really thinking about who you are. I mean, waste a lot of time going to school, signing up for degrees that you don't even, things you don't even want to do.
But
you have no idea who you are.
We forget the younger kids go through frustrations and mental issues, even whether they're five. We be like, man, you too young to know what some nerves are. No, we have to stop being dismissive. That they are still human, whether they're children or not. And I say the younger that you started, the better. Because we're teaching them, breaking the cycle. We're teaching them that it's okay to have these emotions. Right. Not just, teaching you like, don't do that because that's not looked upon as this. Right. Showing them it's okay to be emotional and share your feelings.
It's a way to, that's a way to do that.
Especially with men.
I know that's why I didn't want to cut you off, but I was putting that as myself, especially with men and young boys.
Yes.
We've had plenty of conversations. We've done, couple shows and had these conversations about, the thing between men and young boys or sons is that, whenever they hurt themselves, it's like, oh, shut up, don't cry, you be all right. And it's like we teach these young boys to hold everything in and not to express when something is physically or emotionally hurting them. And then they grow up and they don't know how to cope and deal with being able to express themselves. And like we talked, I'm one of them. Like I have had to learn over the past couple of years how to actually express myself, because not that I was told not to, I just was never taught that it was okay to. As a young boy or growing up as a man,
you won't be looked upon
as a punk, all that type of stuff.
As weak.
As weak.
So men, especially black men, we have, and I get it. I understand that you're trying to raise a strong young black man. I get that aspect, but also raising him to be strong is also letting him know that it's okay to express yourself, just as long as you're not expressing yourself to everybody, but find you somebody that you feel like you comfortable and can trust enough to have those conversations of whatever it is that's bothering you. Because I didn't understand and know that till early 30s that like it's okay to talk to somebody. Like you don't like I got and I know this is off a tangent about everything, but I got a homeboy named Fats that lives in Columbus, and I've been knowing him for about, my daughter's 12, so about 15 years now. And we have these conversations about depression and everything because it's taboo, which we're going to talk about now. I guess we're going to get right into it. It's taboo in the black community to talk to one another about depression, about things that are affecting you, because you don't want your homeboy to know that you're going through X, Y, and Z. Like, you don't want him to know that type of stuff. But me and him, we've made this pact, like, bro, we're going to at least once a week check in with each other mentally. Forget all the extra stuff, the basketball. How you doing mentally, bro? Like, what's going on? Are you straight today? Like, what happened this week? And, we'll discuss and go over, nah, bro, this happened. My kids did this, my wife, this, that, and the third. And like, and it's not so much that I give him advice. It's just letting him get it off his chest.
Yes.
And I'm not his wife, but there are things that he may not feel comfortable telling his wife as a man, because he's going through man things that he wants to talk to me about. And, vice versa, I tell him certain things that I'm going through, kids, relationships, or anything of that nature. And he's just there to listen versus always giving advice. And us men, we got to do a better job of being open with each other and not thinking, oh, man, that's going to make me a punk if I tell him what's going on. That's my tribe.
That's a word.
But no, we really do have this.
Yes, you say that's a word?
Yes, that's what I said.
We really do have this discussion quite often, just because it carries over into their personal relationships with women.
Yeah.
Maybe even with their moms. I mean, I have had someone in my life that, one of my really good friends just has the hardest time expressing their emotions and what they're going through, and they keep it bottled up inside. And I'm asking, like, how you living like that? Like, just talk, like, let me know. And they was like, I've never been, that's just not what I've done. I've always kept it inside. I said, that is not healthy. Like, that is going to kill you. Like, literally, that is going to kill you. And when you do that, and if you don't talk about your issues, you deflect, nothing ever gets accomplished. And then you think you're having these healthy relationships throughout your life, whether it's friendships or relationships or whatever. And at the end of the day, you're not, because you never speak, because it's just like, well, I just don't know how to communicate.
Yep.
I don't know how to be open. And that's uncomfortable.
Yep.
People don't like to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
People don't like the unknown.
Yep.
So when it comes to that, like we said, with men, with young girls, just be open and honest. Like you said, not with everybody, but be okay with being able to talk about, you know what, like, I had a bad day today. I was going through some things, and I might have had some thoughts that I don't want.
Yeah.
For me, because I've been open and honest about where I've been at in my life, I know what it feels like to be in a dark place. But he would tell you that last year in April, like, I shut it down. Right. As far as like no social media, as far as my life, like just trying to self-reflect, just when COVID came in. But because I know the signs, and I know that I have so many things in this life to live for, so many things that I still want to accomplish, so many people's lives that I want to touch and make. When I leave this world, I want them to be like, Christina made a difference in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so for me, when I start to feel down, I know what I got to do, because I don't want to be there. So I know I need to surround myself with people, or shoot a text. Hey, even if it's my kids, I told them last week when I was like, hey, y'all, I'm really not having a good day today. I'm going through it, but just pray for me. Just putting it out there so people know, and not keeping it to myself. I'm doing things, going to the gym every day, because that helps me.
That helps you
to feel better. We have got to learn, like you said, exercise the proper actions when we're going through our situations to be able to come out on top.
Right.
So and man, you hit it on something. And for people watching, we have discussed and documented our trials and tribulations with mental health and things that we've gone through, and the depression and everything. So, and that's one of the main things, part of one of the main things of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because we have gotten to a point where it's like, okay, we can't keep away from people what we've gone through, because who's ever watching the show could be going through the same exact thing today.
Yeah.
And be like, damn, like, okay, I ain't alone. Like, okay. And then they can go do whatever it is they got to do to fix and correct whatever issues that they're having. But like Tina was alluding to, we didn't have that because it wasn't as open. Like, we didn't have that. So we just had to figure out and learn and navigate our own selves of how to get through said things. And for people watching previous shows I've chronicled about, like she just mentioned, I was at that point. Like, I was done. Like, it was a wrap for me. Right. So I know what it's like to get to that point. And like she said, I would never want somebody to feel that, because when you're at your lowest to where you feel like you're better gone than her, man, listen, people who are watching, that there's an indescribable feeling to be that low to where you just feel like, you know what, I'm done with this thing. And I would never, ever want somebody to feel that way. So
nor do you want to feel that way.
I want to? So I know what it's like. So you have to battle to keep from getting to that point. And one last point before I let you cook, Ebony, is when people ask me about mental health, when they ask me about mental health and how do you deal with it, I tell them it's not a day by day. It's an hour by hour. Like, you have to, it's a consistent fight for your happiness.
Choice.
And you got to understand that, 6 o'clock, you could be, on cloud 9. 7 o'clock come and you just down for no reason. You got to continue to fight through that. So for everybody's watching who may be going through something, you got to be able to fight and pull yourself up. No, it's not easy. Trust me. It's not easy at all. Go ahead.
I'm glad that, sorry, like we said in the Black community, my family used to tell me, like, is what goes on in this house stays in this house.
That too.
You ain't got no problems. Like we cannot do that with our children. Like, we make them scared. So and this goes off to another subject, kind of like, but if something's happening and they're being molested, they don't speak out because it's been so ingrained to them that what goes on in this house stays in this house, and don't you discuss it and whatever. Like, we got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
I get it. You ain't supposed to be out telling your business, but
at the same time,
you got to be able to have discretion and know, or your child should be able to understand.
There you go. Yeah.
And another thing, some people might be mad about me saying this, but another thing we need to quit doing is, just pray about it. Pray about it. You'll be fine. Pray about it.
Look,
God can't help you.
That's an old people saying.
God is there for you. But just telling somebody to pray about their situation without trying to figure out ways that they can fix it and talk it through and figure out what's going on with them, that can be more harmful than anything. And but in our, especially in the Black community, like you said, that's another thing we rely heavily on faith in our religion, and that's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes, it takes you to talk to somebody, and there's even therapists that will incorporate your faith in your treatment, as you're getting help, like, not to dismiss it, but just saying pray about something without trying to figure. Even God wants us to take action. On things, So I think that's another big one.
Faith without works is dead.
Faith without work.
You still got to put in the work.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to continue on with this, stigma in the Black community. But before we do, just to let everybody know who's watching, if you're an artist out there, if you like to do spoken word, whatever it is that you like to do, you may need a studio to do that in.
Tap dance, you
can do that too. You can come do that here at Truth Recording and Entertainment. It's located at 340 East New Circle Road, Suite 120, Lexington, Kentucky, 40505. Come in here, lay your tracks down in the studio. If you want me to get on your hook, I do that too, because I can sing a little bit. But we
in the studio within dope tracks.
Hey, but come down to Truth Recording, and they'll look out for you. Also, little tidbit. Ebony used to beat me in basketball 7th grade.
Yeah.
Just because you taught on me, you got game.
I had to develop that later. I got tired of getting beat by a girl. So I was like, man, this got to change.
I ain't never heard nobody talk about your hoop game.
Now, hold on. My name rings bells in these streets. Don't front. So anyways, let's talk about mental health in the Black community. Let's talk. Why do you think I'm not doing this with you today? So the large stigma we talked about from the man's perspective, but overall, why do you think there is such a big stigma on mental health in the Black community and it being so taboo?
To me, it's also going back to what we talked about, the weak. First of all, feeling like we're Black people, we've gone through so much, and we've been taught to be strong, right? You strong, we strong, we know how to handle this. We can do it. And when you talk about the men, even on the women too, like, we're always taught to be superwomen. We're always taught to be so strong and we can handle anything. And I feel like, so you telling somebody that you've got a problem, going on with you that you can't handle, I feel like that shows a sign of weakness to us. I feel like that's one of the reasons it shows a sign of weakness. I think also we don't talk about mental health too, because there's a lot of reasons why we don't trust mental health professionals. In itself. I think that's another issue, and that goes back in history, discrimination and things that we've gone through that put this mistrust with seeking out mental health. And you know, that's another reason. But as far as with me, I think the stigma, the most part, is just you don't want to think that something's wrong with you, and when nobody else is talking about it. Like even hearing you all talk about this right now, like you said, us talking about this, somebody's listening, and they're like, well, dang, I went through that too. You know, I had this same experience. But when you go home or your family or whatever, when everything is just it's supposed to be kept a secret, and you don't have anybody to talk to, then that thing it just keeps perpetuating. The same vicious cycle just keeps getting handed down, you know, over and over again. And it's sad. You know, I think the more that we have these conversations, the more. That's why what you guys are doing, even you know, providing this platform for me to come speak, like what y'all doing right now is helping so many people. Right now, where we have social media, where everybody can see what you're doing. You know, I think it's huge, and we got to normalize it. It's normalized saying I'm not okay.
Yeah, I'm not okay.
I'm not okay. I'm not okay today. You know, I got this going on. I got that going on. I don't feel good today.
It's okay to not be okay.
Yeah, it's okay to not be okay. Everybody, you know, and there's so many people that are not okay, but they're not going to open up their mouth and say it because they're too fearful of what other people are going to think about us.
You said it.
Mm-hmm.
You said it. I think too, like I love to see not just women, but people of color in your position, because I think that's been a problem. We don't feel like that they can relate.
Yeah.
So when you go in and say you you know, how do you when
37?
37? Yeah. 37-year-old black man, you know, kids, baby mama drama, whatever going through. Before all this, and you trying for the first time, and you go in here, and there's a 76-year-old white man. Like you're not gonna feel like he can relate, so you're gonna feel like he's just telling you textbook stuff.
Yep.
Well, maybe you could do X, Y, Z, or maybe you could do whatever. Like we need to be able to feel like that we can relate to the person that we're talking to. So when I not first, but after I got married and we were seeking counselor, I went and looked for a Christian spiritual counselor because it was important to me that her belief or that person's belief was the same as my belief, so that I can then talk to them. And you know, we could be on the same level.
Yep.
You know, that's important. We have to do the research. But the fact that I'm seeing so many more people.
So many more people.
So many more people. So the fact that I'm seeing people of color.
That was right.
The fact that I'm seeing more people of color, and I'm not even just saying as African Americans, just minorities, period. People that look like us. Yeah. People that we can go and say, you know what? They may be able to relate to how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know,
they are aware of those experiences. They called it. So they said there's a lack of culturally competent mental health professionals, and that's another reason why, just like you said, that Black people, you know, may not seek that, or there's a lack of people who can relate to what we're going through, and so that's a hard thing when you're even looking, like you said, looking for somebody to talk to. So that's another battle that we, you know, that we face. But
I'm gonna tell you on the downside of that, and this is just me being real. Black people don't want to go and tell other Black people their business because they feel like that they gonna go home and say, "This is what I saw today." No matter how
in the office today,
no matter input, no matter how professional they may be in there, people are human, and when they see somebody else, I didn't. That's true. They don't tell nobody. It's a fear, like of opening up, because you don't know who's going to spread your business.
Yeah, that's true too.
You know,
but we also, and I know it's hard. I know it's easier said than done. Have to trust that said minority is going to do their job and trust them to do their job.
For sure.
And keep all the information in this room, in this damn room. You know what I'm saying?
And if not, I'm going to sue you.
I was like, you're going to report that.
Yeah, so, but, you know, Black people, we have to do a better job. And I think you hit it on, I think Tina talked about it a little bit too, is that when you go, the stigma behind it is when you go see a therapist, you're labeled as crazy or something's wrong with you. And it's like, no, bro, it's like, I got some stuff that I don't know how to deal with. I need to talk to somebody that'll help me learn how to deal with this. But as soon as you talk to, I'll just say it, as soon as you talk to an uneducated person and you tell them, yeah, man, I'm gonna go see my therapist today. And what's the typical reaction. Your therapist.
What?
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you? What you going through?
I'm seeing a therapist, so it won't be nothing wrong with me.
I'm going through a therapist, so I don't snap on yours. No.
Right. Right.
Look, other races talk about their therapist like they going to see their personal trainer. Like
Yeah.
they're going to see. I mean, seriously, if you having issues, if you are somebody who needs help with budgeting or your finances, you go see what? A financial advisor.
Financial advisor.
If you break your leg, you're going to go see a doctor.
Yeah.
Anything that happens to you, but for some reason with our mind, it's like, if I say something's wrong with my mind, that's just a big, that's the big problem. That's where we have to normalize that. There could be so many things going on with you. It may be something, like you said, something that you can't handle. It could be something chemically going on in your, with your brain that somebody has to look at. There's so many different things that, that you have to dissect and figure out what's going on. And we can't do that ourselves. If I'm not trained to do that, then I'm not going to be able to tell you, what you need. So sometimes talking to a friend or a family member, like you said, or whoever, may not be enough. It's good and it's therapeutic and it's a start, but you might sometimes have to take that a step further.
Mm-hmm.
So
we got to stop. What she said, we have to stop. And I've done this before. Looked at like, well, I told you this, and you ain't listen to me. But soon as such and such told you that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's because they may look at it, they were saying it from a bias standpoint, and maybe you were able to better break it down than I could have, and giving it to them in a way that gave them didn't feel a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be able to be okay with that. Like, everybody plays their own role in people's lives, and it's like, okay, this is what it is. I don't care how you got the help. I'm just glad that you have the help.
You got it. Exactly.
I love these conversations.
I do too. That's a
And then that's another reason why we kind of switched over our show, like saying, because when we first started, we did, it was a good idea. We was on there kicking it, laughing. People were calling in. And then when we came back in December, we was like, you know what? I mean, we've grown.
Yeah.
Our biggest concern used to be, well, how many people watching, how many views you got? Did you say
Exactly.
That no longer was a factor to us, in the sense of what we wanted to do was make sure that when we're talking about mental health, let's bring a mental health professional in.
Yeah.
So we're not just giving our opinions.
Exactly.
Let's bring somebody in here that can actually give them sound advice and resources that they can have for whatever they're feeling.
For what
whatever it may be. It don't have to just be mental health, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. And even if one person right now is watching and gets anything out of this, seriously.
Before we go, because I got some other questions I want to ask you about, improving mental health. But one thing we gotta stop doing in the Black community is stop telling people, "Oh, you be all right, man. You straight, man. It's just you'll be okay. It ain't nothing." Like
dismissing their feelings, dismissing how they feel.
Like, bro, I'm going through some issues right now, and Black men, when you do confide in them, oh, bro, you'll be all right, man. You just do X, Y, and Z, man. You'll be straight. And it's like, no, bro.
But you know what? Sometimes they don't know how to, because they've not been. So we don't just look at it, they're being dismissive. It's like that's what's been taught to them.
So they don't know how.
So they don't know how to respond to it. And it's like, well, I don't want to be too emotional. I don't want this dude thinking I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? So we have to look at it from both sides. Is all I'm telling you, that it may not be a man just being. I'm just dismissing how you feel.
Because I was uneducated about depression until I had my episode, and I went to a doctor, and he had to break it down to me that it's something, like you mentioned earlier, chemically imbalanced in your brain. So it's not even necessarily just a feeling, it's something actually wrong inside your brain that's making you feel said way. And I was like blown away, because until then I just thought depression was a feeling, and you'll get through it somehow, some way. Not to say that you don't go through seasons of depression, but when you're in a chronic state of depression, then there might be something chemically imbalanced in your brain, and I didn't even know about all of that. So I had to get educated on that myself. So people watching, do your research, and please educate yourself if you can about it. Go ahead.
Man, talking about lifetimes that depression isn't real and that you just weak-minded. If anybody is they just got a weak mind. I'm like, what? Like,
you think I want to be like this?
Right. You know what I mean? Like, but I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Plenty
and
of times.
Not only that, but also the depression shows up in different ways. It ain't only just crying or you feel sad. It could be people that are overly happy all the time. always, the spotlight or have to be seen all the time. That could be a sign
That's a
of
facade.
depression.
So I
It's a facade.
had
There's different ways, to look at it. So that's another reason. But I feel like if anybody listening, right now, just the main thing is if there is something in your life that is creating something that is you're not able to function the way you can in certain areas of your life. There's something holding you back, and you feel that more days than not, then it's probably a good idea for you to go check in with somebody. If you're feeling a certain way all the time or certain patterns you're noticing about yourself, go check in with somebody. And fear. I know sometimes I've heard people say, "Oh, I'm not going to the doctor because they're gonna put me on medicine. Or they're gonna put me on something. I don't want to. I don't want to go. You never know what the outcome could be. But the longer that you wait to see what's wrong with you, you may need medicine then, or maybe you need medicine now. But that's another thing. Putting that stigma away, even about being on medication. Or having to, like you said, if something's going on in your brain or something's wrong, like just knocking all that, stigma and just looking at people differently because they need help. And the craziest part is you looking at people differently because they need help, knowing good and well that you have felt the same way. That is what's crazy.
But then that's the self admittance. Yes. Like that's like saying, "Oh, if I felt the way they felt like I got a problem. That must mean I got a problem, and I ain't got a problem."
Exactly.
It makes
true. Exactly.
Yeah. I think that we'll go ahead, Quentin.
No, go ahead.
I think that you talk about medicine. I'm a firm believer in what we put into our bodies as far as food or anything else is such a huge factor in our, not just our physical, but our mental health. So my thing is one way or the other, either you going to take the pills or you going to cleanse your body and you going to eat right, because I've gotten colonics before, anybody don't know what that is. It's basically clean out your intestines, and just your bowels, whatever. But just in one session, when I got up off that table, I felt different. My mind felt clear. I felt more energy. When I eat right and I drink a gallon of water a day, there's days I can go and not maybe take some medicine. I mean, I'll take my normal, but I'm just saying, like, you're going to have to put the work in one way or the other.
Exactly.
Yep. So you can't just go through life and think, well, I don't want to take pills because this person's going to think such and such. It don't matter what nobody else thinks. Whatever it takes to get you through.
That's the hard part.
But even on medicine, like I've told, we've been on my daughter and stuff like that. Even with me being on medicine or whatever, I still got to put in the work. The medicine ain't it's not a fix-all. It's not a cure-all.
Nope.
You still have to every day consciously say, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
And I'll put in the work. Yeah.
Because it's not going, you got to put in the work. It's not going, it's not a magic pill.
You can't just take the pill and be like, okay, I'm fixed it. I'm good.
I'm good now. Thank you.
I'm good. Yeah. Do the work. But to piggyback off of Tina and what you was alluding to earlier, we talked about things that we go through. Now, can you give some suggestions and tips on improving mental health and what people can do?
Yeah. So hold on, let me take I have my little phone over here where I wrote some stuff down.
Okay.
But going back, and we kind of touched on some of the things already, but first, like with me, the way you start your day, really, it can set the tone for the whole day, right? And one thing I noticed, I would see myself, I would get up, you go to the bathroom, take your phone to the bathroom, the first thing you do, you on the toilet, watching Facebook. You on Facebook, looking on Instagram, looking at stuff. Then sometimes you see the stuff, people putting a whole bunch of negative stuff on Facebook and drama. Already you in a bad mood. And you don't even know what's going on. You're like, why do I feel this way? It's like you already consuming that negativity already. So I think starting your day with either meditation, prayer, mute. Sometimes I will just turn on like my favorite songs that make me feel good. I think that's a good way to just set the tone for whatever you're seeking that day, or just talk to yourself about what you're planning that day, or look in the mirror and tell yourself, like, I'm worthy. I expect great things for myself, and I think that's just setting the tone for the day is good. Do you all have any things that you all do?
Make up your bed.
Make up your bed.
Make up your bed. I'm dead serious. Like, I for a while there in my life, I was to make up my bed, right? But when you get married, everybody ain't always on the same page as far as like I like 1,000 pillows on my bed, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, when you make up your bed and you come home at night and you look, you have peace. You come home and your bed's all over the place. It's cluttered. It makes you feel cluttered. But when everything's neat and in place, when you walk out of your room in the morning, you turn back around and you look at your room, like everything feels at peace.
Because it's organized.
Small things like that can help set the tone for your day. Just as small as making your bed up.
Exactly.
Start small.
Start small.
You make up your bed, Quentin?
Hell no.
Try it tomorrow.
That's what's wrong with you now, boy.
It probably might be, I'm gonna make up my bed tomorrow. Be like, so that was the damn problem
Yeah,
all these years. I didn't make up my damn
make
bed.
Make up your
anymore.
bed and send me a picture tomorrow.
I will. Well, I'm gonna be good tomorrow anyway because it's a little light skin.
And we've talked about this, and Kristen, I know you talked about exercise and like, eating healthy, and I think, and also exercise. Like I started a year ago on a journey of just exercising and being better about what I'm putting in my body and stuff. Made a total difference about how I feel. What I felt last year and how I feel now. I mean, I was like, dang, I feel almost in my late 20s again. Like I feel good. And I went down a road that was just, I was tired all the time. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel as attractive, everything. And I think that those endorphins that are released when you work out, you feel better, you feel positive. So I think exercising is always, and if you can't get to a gym, just take a walk. Go for a walk. Just do whatever you can to just keep your body moving. And I think that's an important way to increase your mental wellness. Reduce negative talk, complaining, change the narrative. And going back again, when I think about my job, when I was sitting there complaining, there was somebody there in my job that had been there for almost 15 years. And she was complaining about the same thing. And I wasn't there for 15 years, but I can imagine she talking about it. Nothing has changed. This, the job. And I was just thinking to myself, like, how could you stay in a position? What makes you stay somewhere for 15 years that you're just completely miserable at? Like, did you think of other solutions and it just not work out or whatever the situation is? But I think sometimes when you focus so much on the problem and complaining about what's going on instead of being like, wait a minute, now how do I get out of here? Like, let me, instead of focusing that energy on what's going on, let me think about what ways I can get out of this job. Or who do I need to, fix my resume? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to talk to somebody? Do I need to network or whatever it is that can help you get out of the situation that you're in instead of focusing so much on the problem? And I think we talked about that, the noise or just the mess around you, just so you don't have to focus on yourself or what's going on. So we spend our time complaining about it and talking negatively or gossiping about other people or whatever the case instead of focusing on yourself. So I think that is also a way.
That's a huge one. Right?
With that comes fear and complacency.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we're fearful for stepping out of something that we already know, like the routine. Well, I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna get a paycheck. I ain't gotta. But when you step outside of that box in the unknown, it's like, why would I let go of 5 years this job where I know I'm guaranteed that they make me mad, but when I go work, at least I'm gonna get my paycheck.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Gonna try something that may actually make you happier. Let's not use happiness over money any day.
Yeah,
I love money. Don't get me wrong.
I'm the same.
Right.
I have to have a peace of mind. If I don't have a peace of mind, I can't do it.
You can't pay for a peace of mind. And if I've not learned anything else by traveling the world, and back in my younger days when I was modeling, money does not cure all. That's why you have so many rich kids. That don't stop them from committing suicide.
They sure don't. No.
That don't stop the wife whose husband's a billionaire from sleeping with the pool boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, money, you have to be able to understand it and balance it.
So money from a pool boy.
And the thing is, just real quick, going back to when you talk about if you're in a job or something that, is bringing you a paycheck or whatever, if you want to keep going to that job, but when you have your free time, be working on something else. That's going to make your mind, that's going to make you feel better knowing that there's a plan. At least you got a plan for something else. That's already going to increase how you feel about yourself and your mental well-being, because you're not going to feel stuck. You're not going to feel like I don't have nothing else to live for. This is all I got. So I think that's important. And another one, this is a huge one. We kind of touched on it. Social media. Sometimes you need to reduce or filter your social media. If you're gonna be on it all the time, at least filter what you're looking at, who you're listening to, who your friends are on social media. Like you want people that are talking about positive things that are making you want to level up and be better. Like if you're surrounded by people that are talking about what's going on in the neighborhood and who got arrested and all, I mean, just all this, just stuff that doesn't, it's not productive.
Yeah.
So you got to just filter what you're doing and what you're putting in your mind. And sometimes you think that stuff don't bother you, but you are soaking all that in. You soaking it in. Sometimes I'll be watching stuff on Facebook, and then I'll have a dream about something. And I'm like, I thought about that. I thought it didn't bother me, but obviously it did because I'm still thinking about it when I lay my head down at night. So I think that's important.
I mean, that's big because even me I got a degree in marketing. Mm-hmm. And with that, I've learned that's why they strategically play certain songs in stores because it's subconscious telling you to buy this. Yeah. The lighting, even in the elevators, the things that we don't even realize that's making subtle things that are saying the commercials, the radio advertisements, all of that make a difference.
Exactly.
And we don't realize that we're absorbing all that negativity.
All the negativity. Yep.
Be aware of your surroundings. A couple more questions before we get you out of here, Ms. Ebonie Ware. What are your thoughts on marijuana to help with, anxiety and depression? What's your thoughts on that? Okay. No, okay.
No, seriously, listen. Hey, I think if it works for you, if it helps you, now the only issue that I have is when it can be anything, marijuana, whatever it is, when it becomes too much of a crutch. Like you have to have it all the time in order to to function or to feel good. Because I think, and I thought about this when you were talking about earlier before people start talking about mental health and the way that we cope with things. A lot of things we did was drink, smoke, do things that you can to kind of not think about what's going on. A lot of time I think people use marijuana to forget about everything that's going on. Now, if you're using it to kind of just to chill out, settle your mind a little bit sometimes, and that, recreational, whatever, I say yes. To be honest.
I think at the end of the day is the problem that we've had is just that it's been illegal. And it was deemed to be a bad thing, even though it's a natural plant. I'm not a smoker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my thing is just because the government could not capitalize off of it.
Exactly.
It was made to be something negative. However, when we take some of these pills, we don't know what we put in our bodies. It's got people,
they tell you the side effects.
Yeah, on opioids, and tell you this may cause liver cancer, may even cause death. But you know what? Get with us for XYZ. But then you look at something that's a natural plant like marijuana, and it's been bad. But now
it's convenient. Conveniently, it's great now, right?
They found a way to capitalize off of it. So me personally, you ask me, hey, whatever floats your boat, as long as you want to be a functional smoker, because some people aren't functional smokers.
Exactly. That's what I said. As long as you're able to do it without it being, the thing that you have to have, like I think that, I say yay. I say good.
And the reason why I asked that is because, it's been a hot topic in sports as well as in mental health conversations about the use of marijuana to help cope with anxiety, depression, and with sports, it was more so coping with aches and pains versus using opioids, because a lot of professional athletes don't want to use opioids. They would rather smoke to deal with the ailments that they're dealing with. So it's been a hot topic. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on the use of marijuana to help cope with anxiety and depression. But like you said, it's okay as long as you're not using it for a crutch. If you want to use it to, like you said, after a rough ass day, calm your mind, calm your nerves, and just chill out, cool. But don't be, I got to smoke today. Like, that type of
Some
thing.
people have to do it every day, all day. Cannot, because to me, when they say, marijuana is not, that's not addictive. Marijuana, anything can be addictive. Yeah. Anything that you are overusing to cope with something is addictive. Period. Whatever it is.
And for the people, and look, man, if you smoke, man, by all means do your thing. But the fact that you feel like you have to smoke all day to cope with something should let you know it's not right. You know what I'm saying? And to try to figure out moving forward. You about to say something?
No, I just want to say something before we get out of here. And it just popped in my head. Like I just looked at the time. I'm like, dang, it's 7:15.
Am my
Yeah,
baby about to die? Go ahead.
no, but I'm saying like this has been something that I've needed. This discussion is thorough. Like this is what we do, and I have so many people, not in a negative. First question they ask is, "Hey, y'all make money off show? Y'all do it?" And for me, right now, it's moments like this where I'm like, things will come into fruition, and God's gonna bless us, and it feels good for me to be able to have a platform to bring other people on, to be able to help other people. So right now, it's not about the money.
Right.
It's bigger than that.
It's bigger.
And what's going to be is going to be.
Yeah.
And as long as we continue to stay the course and, keep God in it, like we say what we say, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it is not about the money for us. I'm not saying we don't get paid. I ain't saying we do get paid, but what I'm saying is it's not about the money. It's about the fact that we have a platform where we can help bring awareness and help other people to elevate them. Because once we help other people elevate, God's going to continue to elevate us. And that's me, Chrissy J.
Hey.
What she said, and like Charlamagne said, chase the dream. Now go ahead.
No, I was going to say, me being, talking about mental fitness and mental health, you get about 5 likes whenever you're talking about mental health. Nobody will listen to you when you're talking about that, And it's like, here is something that's so important. So I feel your pain. I feel your struggle when it comes to like, you're doing something that you're passionate about, that it's going to help people, and and it's your purpose, you're doing something with purpose. And that's what you got to remember. Just do it with purpose. And that's what Totally Naked's all about. That's everything that I talk about. It's just about doing things from the inside out, figuring out who you are, what you meant to be, and like reaching your greatest potential. But I feel the same way. It's a struggle trying to get people.
I'm about that book, girl. I'm about that book.
Hold on. We got one more book. We got one more book.
Oh, and I'm gonna take your course.
We got so talk about your other book that you about to have come out for mothers and their daughters. Talk about that a little bit.
Oh gosh, so this one is dear to my heart. So I, for some reason, I just got to thinking about like women, and I thought about young girls, and especially little brown girls, and thinking about sometimes the way that we feel about ourselves, growing up, or people not saying things to us that they should say, and even with our mothers, our aunts, or whoever in our family, sometimes they don't even give you that love or lift you up in the way that they should. And sometimes you have, it's funny because my grandmother is one who, my grandmother raised me. My mother died when I was 5. So my grandmother raised me, but she was not an affectionate person. She was not. She taught us to be straight, on the straight and narrow. Quinn knows my granny. Everybody was scared of my granny, but she was not. She was not somebody that was gonna, compliment you or just, be very emotional or whatever you want to say. But I thought about writing this book because I wanted to make it something that was for self-discovery. So I made it into a journal as well, something filled with affirmations. And I have like mothers who wrote letters to their daughters in the book. So what it is like writing either something that they wanted to say to give advice to them, or just things that they feel about them. And sometimes this might be the first time they ever heard anybody say anything. I mean, to be honest, some people ain't never heard somebody tell them that they're worthy or they deserve, great things. But I just thought it would be a good keepsake. So I'm so excited about that. It's coming out on Mother's Day, which is May 9th. So it's dropping on Mother's Day. So I'm so excited the amount of women that participated in writing, letters to their daughters and just reading the letters from other women. And just you learn something from that, just looking at what other women have written. And it's just beautiful. So I'm just excited about that drop Mother's Day.
That's dope, man.
That is dope. I think we might have to find a way to get a signed copy and give it away for during the show or something. But Ebony, we do appreciate the time that you spent with us today. Thank you for taking time out your day. Can you hear us?
I think she said a phone battery.
Oh, okay.
He was frozen.
Yeah, the screen was frozen, so we know she left. Oh no, Charlamagne was just saying, don't chase the check, chase the dream, and the check will come.
Man, come on through.
Sometimes
you're ignorant, but a lot of times you might.
Every once in a while, he'll throw a gym in there. Right? Every once in a while, he'll throw a gym. But Miss Ebony, let everybody know where they can find you at, where they can purchase your books and take your mental health fitness course.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you all so much for having me on this show and just providing a platform for something like this. I think we need to do something else together too, because I think we was vibing real good on here. So we need to think about it.
How we take this on flow.
We'll keep you. We keep you in touch. Yeah, we'll keep in touch.
We're gonna keep in touch. But anyway, you can find me on. So my website is Where I'm Coming From. It's Where my last name WAREIM coming from.com, where I'm coming from. And you also can follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Where I'm Coming From, where I give, mental wellness tips and just inspirational quotes and different things. So please follow me on that. But my mental fitness program is available on my website, as well as my book on my website, Totally Naked.
Quentin Jarvis is gonna buy the class for me as for Mother's Day as a gift.
Yes. And the book. And the book.
They got me.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, and the book to go with.
Oh, and that.
I will give it Jarvis. You know what? That's a good idea. I'm
That's
gonna get
a good
Jarvis.
idea.
Jarvis is cheap ass.
Investments. We invest into each other.
But
That's
I do.
right. Well,
You
thank
know-
you all so much. I
We might have to
appreciate it.
give away a course,
Mhm.
like pay for a class and then give it away. And
Like,
that-
that's what we gonna do.
we'll keep it. We'll get in
Yeah.
touch. We'll work some things out. But Chrissy J, you got something you want to say before we get out of here?
All right.
Like I said, we do it because we love it. And I'm so appreciative for the opportunity to have this platform to be able to get on here, because it doesn't only help other people, but it helps us as well.
Us as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
So hey, I'm feeling kind of emotional, so I'm gonna stop. Before I start rapping. Go ahead.
So
And
like,
I was so nervous to be on here, so I'm glad.
yeah,
y'all made
she
me
was so
come
nervous
on.
to come on. I was like, it's gonna
Nah,
be
you don't
fine.
understand.
Like,
Yeah, we good.
Yeah, you straight. Yeah,
I can tell you, I'm normally quiet.
yeah.
Yeah.
But, like she mentioned, it's down there scrolling at the bottom of where you can purchase her book and also, purchase her course as well as www.whereimcomingfrom.com. So make sure y'all get on there, check that out, sign up for the course. You might see me in there, you might see Chrissy J, you might see Jarvis. You never know. You never know. But again, thank you, Ebony, for coming on here, because this is a topic that is near and dear to me and Tina especially, and we feel like it's a topic that always needs to be discussed and put at the forefront, because it's always getting pushed in the back, especially in our community. So, we have an obligation, like you said, and like she said, we have a platform. So we need to get this information out there, regardless if it's one person that it helps or 50 people that it helps. But the fact of the matter is, one person heard what all of us were discussing, and maybe is going to do something about it after this show. Or they may sign up for a course, or they might hit up Chrissy J afterwards, or they might hit myself up and ask for things. So if we helped anybody during this course of this show, we've done our job. So Ebony, thank you for coming on. We getting ready to get on up out of here, but for everybody tuned in, you can always watch previous shows on the YouTube channel. He Said, She Said Talk. Also, you can go back and listen to previous podcasts on Pandora, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Play Store, Roku, iTunes. Like wherever you can listen to podcasts, you can check us out and let people know where they can check your podcast out at.
Oh, Lord, look, I got to get back on there now. My podcast is Totally Naked podcast, and you can find it on Apple, what else, Spotify, just most of the streaming platforms as well. But I just talk about real issues that real people go through. So if you all want to be on my podcast too, let me know.
Hey, all you got to do is just reach out and let us know.
All right.
Like we say all the time, man. At least me.
Yeah.
Live it like you love it, or leave it alone.
Exactly.
Love what you do. Leave it alone.
Ain't it crazy how in the 7th grade we went from being at Bryan Station to then I got a podcast and you a life coach? Like, ain't that crazy?
Run around with the
I still do run around with a snotty nose. What you mean? But anyways, we get up out of here. But before we do, we want you to treat somebody how you want somebody to treat your mama. And we out of this thing.
All right. Bye.